Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Rise Every Nation. We had some technical difficulties, but we getting it together. It's always a pleasure when I get to reconnect with old friends, old faces from different places, new places. As big as San Diego is, I feel like it's not that big once you in the circle of influence and you're just doing great things like this brother here, Jarvis. Jarvis, how are you doing this morning, sir?
Man, this is almost lunchtime for me.
Yeah, I know, because with a name like the Morning Hero, I had a feeling we were getting a late start based on that. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
start it off like this. Well, before we get to start off, it's funny. Like I was just telling you earlier, so many people, two people within the 2 weeks time span had said, "Yo, you gotta have on this podcast. You gotta have this guy named Jarvis." Da, da, da. I was like, "Oh, I know Jarvis." And then they goes, "How do you know Jarvis?" And I had to recollect my memory. Do you remember the first time we met? Like, when was the first time we met?
I don't even remember.
What? Like, I know I went to some of your events. I think my first recollection was maybe Startup Weekend, because you was at Startup Weekend, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that I believe that may have been it. So back in the day, I was creating a little. I was developing an app, and so I was kind of embedding myself into the startup community because of this app company that I wanted to launch. And so we may have met there,
Yeah,
and then since then I've kind of pivoted in several different directions, and then went into coaching. So which is what I do now. But I
yeah.
and then since then, yeah, I think you've come to. So I also do a lot of events and workshops and
Uh-huh.
seminars on personal development, and I think you've come to a couple of my events.
Yeah, and they've been awesome, by the way, and I can't wait for for it to start coming back and things start opening up. People, I think we ready, we ready. So let's talk about that. So let's dive in. So for the people who don't know who Jarvis is, who is Jarvis, the morning hero? You could go as far and as wide as you want with that. Give the people let the people know who Jarvis, the morning hero, is.
Well, the morning hero. So there's two people. There's Jarvis, and then there's the morning hero.
Okay, all
Uh,
right, let's break it down. Let's break it down for them.
so the morning hero is just this persona that was kind of born from, like, I went through a rebirth in my life, and I kind of go
Hmm.
back and tell you a little bit of my history. So Jarvis, I went to school for computer engineering from Chicago. Went to school for computer
Hmm.
engineering and graduated, and quickly worked for a bunch of tech companies coming out of school, and quickly saw that I wanted to be in to. I had more of a business acumen rather than just being stuck in a computer lab coding all day, and so
Yeah.
I quickly pivoted and went into sales, and so I started doing tech sales, and did that for 15 years, and
Hmm.
was making good money, doing great. Had all the toys and the cars and everything, and then I kind of just got around my when I hit 30, I kind of just got into this comfort zone of life
Hmm.
where everything was just comfortable. Like, my life wasn't painful. I was making decent money. I wasn't making extraordinary money, but I wasn't doing bad either. I was just okay. And,
Hmm.
I just had this cycle. I would just get up, kind of run into the grind. And every day I was kind of exhausted and go home, go to sleep, and wake up the next day and do it all over again. And I was just kind of in this flow of life. And I existed that way for years until one day
Hmm.
I was scrolling through. Well, I was on my phone, of course, like everyone else is. So I'm on my
Hmm.
phone, and I get a notification from LinkedIn. Said, "Hey, go congratulate Eric on his new job position." And Eric was my old lab partner in school
Hmm.
for computer engineering.
Yeah.
So in engineering, you have lab partners, and you pretty much go through all your classes together as partners. And
Hmm.
Eric cheated on me for everything. Like, I carried Eric through school. Every lab, every homework, every exam. Like, I always gave him all the answers. He never did any of the work, and
Hmm.
basically he graduated because of me. And so now
Hmm.
I'm getting, the flash forward just like 15 years later. I hadn't seen Eric since we graduated, And now I'm getting a notification on my phone say, "Go congratulate Eric on his new job position." And I go look at his LinkedIn profile, and he is now the CIO of a logistics technology company, right?
Wow.
And here I am on my couch, just scrolling through my phone, just sunk into this comfort zone of mediocrity of life, like this
Mhm.
this mid-performing, average, mundane, nothing exciting existence of life. And here I am scrolling through this guy's profile. I go to his LinkedIn, I go to his Instagram profile. I'm looking at all his pictures, and he's got this big house now. He's got a boat, and he's living extraordinary. And I'm
Mhm.
like, wait a minute. He cheated off me. I'm way better than him. I'm way smarter than him. I'm way more capable than him. I'm way more educated than him. I got more skills than him. Like, I should be the one with the boat. I should be the one with the big house. Like, I should be living extraordinary, not just average. And that was the
Uh-huh.
moment that I recognized that there was a big difference between the life that I should be living and the life that I was
Uh-huh.
living. I wasn't
Mm.
living up to my full capabilities. I wasn't living up to who I could be, who I should have been, what I deserve to be. In that moment, that I was pissed off. I don't know if you've ever felt
Yeah.
that way. You scroll and you see people doing better than you that shouldn't be, and you're like, wait a minute, come on now. What are they doing? What are they doing that I'm not doing?
Look.
Something's not right here. And that just planted this seed of obsession. And at
Right.
that moment, I got obsessed over what do I need to do differently? What do I need to do to start living up to my fullest and highest capabilities? How do I start producing at the level that I should be producing in my grand design in life? And
Mhm.
I kind of went out and started studying. I got really deep into personal development. I started reading all the books, reading all the autobiographies of some of the most extraordinary people, CEOs, and the people that have done great things like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Oprah and Tony Robbins and Kobe Bryant. I just wanted to know, I wanted to engineer success. Like I wanted to
Yeah.
reverse engineer success and start applying it to my own life.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of came. Well, the first thing I noticed several things that all these people had in common. The very first thing I noticed that they all woke up really early in the morning, and it's just this. It's just a fact, right? The most
Mhm.
successful people they wake up somewhere between, around 5 in the morning every day. And at that time,
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that. I was waking up. I was in sales, so I controlled my own schedule. So I'm waking up at 7, 8 in the morning,
Mhm.
diving right into my first appointment or my first obligation of the day. I didn't really have any structure. And I noticed that they all woke up early with a very structured morning routine to set their day on fire, to make them really
Mhm.
organized, make them really productive. And it kind of was the foundation for them to produce extraordinary results in their life.
Mhm.
And so that was the first commitment that I made to myself. Was like, all right, what would it look like if I committed to starting to waking up at 5 in the morning? And I was like, first of all, I'm like, dude, this has never happened to Jarvis. You are not a morning person. Like, that's not your DNA. That's not your rhythm. You are
Yeah.
like I was an engineer, so engineers stay up late coding all night, right? That's the typical flow. You're up till 2 in the morning writing computer code. Like I've felt that's who I was as a person. I am not a morning person, and so the very first commitment, the belief that I had to break down was that I read a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And one of the first
Mhm.
chapters of that book dispels this myth of you are not a morning person. And it basically says that
Mhm.
you are what you tell yourself you are.
Mm.
If you tell yourself you're not a morning person, then your body will obey exactly what you tell it. However, if you start to tell yourself something different, you create a new reality for yourself. So I started saying, okay, well, you know what? I'm actually excited to wake up tomorrow at 5 in the morning. Like, I'm looking forward to this. Like, I am a morning person and I can't wait to wake up at 5 in the morning tomorrow. And
Mhm.
the day I said that, the very next day I woke up at 4:57 a.m. before my alarm clock ever went off. And
Wow.
I've never used an alarm clock since that day. That was 5 years ago. I have no need for an alarm clock ever
Wow.
again. The moment
So
you
you
tell
were
yourself,
able to
your mind is
transition the
powerful.
first day? The first day?
The very first day I tried this, and I've never used an alarm clock since that day, weekends included. I wake up now. I
Mhm.
wake up at 4 in the morning, even on the weekends. Hence, that what me and you are talking right now, Saturday morning, and it's
Mhm.
only 7 in the morning, and I've already been up for 3 hours here at
Yeah.
work, getting stuff done before my family wakes up, right? And so that's what birthed the morning hero, because
Mhm.
that day it set my life on fire. Because now I have more time. I'm waking up at 5 in the morning. I'm getting up. I'm meditating, I'm exercising, I'm planning and organizing my day. I'm getting my top priorities done all before 7 a.m. So by the time
Mhm.
most people are waking up in the morning, I've already accomplished more than they'll accomplish for the whole day. Right. And that I started calling myself, like, every day I get up, I feel like a hero. Like, I wake up in the morning, I do my process,
Mhm.
I feel like a hero. I wake up in the morning and I turn into a hero. And it's like, I am the morning hero. And I
Yeah.
started posting that on social media, and everyone started calling me the morning hero. So that's how the morning hero was born, was through that pain of recognizing I wasn't living my best life and I wasn't
Mhm.
producing and at the level that I should be producing, and understanding that it all comes down to waking up early with a with a structured routine to make you 10 times, to make you, 10 times more productive. And
Man, I
and
resonate with
then
all that.
Yeah, and it is a secret sauce. It is the secret sauce in life. And since then, now this is what I teach people. So now, the Morning Hero is a full fledged, coaching company where we help people with systems and processes to make them more productive in life. Yeah, and give them
Nice.
more time. I say that we can help people be done by lunch. Help you engineer your day so that you're done by lunch. So, like now, after 1 o'clock, I don't work past 1 o'clock. My entire afternoons,
Really?
I go pick up my son, and we do something fun in the afternoons. And I think everyone can have that. Like, you don't have to be hustling and grinding all day long. Like, no, get in, be really efficient with your time, get out, and then go do fun, extraordinary stuff in the afternoons. And so now
I love
that's
this.
how we coach people.
Yeah. Man, your transitions are just in life are just amazing. I remember now because you re jogged the memory that I had when I first went to one of your events. Because at the same time I went to your events, I was reading this book by Lewis Howes. Is this book that I had bought that was called the Millionaire Morning, and it talked about how he talked to all these millionaires, right? And these wealthy people and successful people, just like you did, and he found out the same thing. And he listed out this morning routine, like the top things from all of their morning routines that he got from like waking up, eating breakfast, exercising, gratitude. They did all these things before they even did anything business. They had a structure that they did, like a mantra that they did that helped them get set for the day before they even touched any work. So these things had to occur first, and then I get into the emails and the work of things. Is your
Yeah,
is your morning mantra kind of like that, or tell
yeah,
me
it's
the
very
secret
similar.
sauce? Yeah,
Yeah, it's very similar. I say if you win the morning, you win the day. And so if you just win that morning, I call it the power hour. That first
yeah.
hour of the day will dictate how the rest of the day goes. And where most people go wrong is they wake up right into their obligations. They wake up right
Mhm.
into dealing with family, or right into getting ready for work, or running out the door, or right into starting their day. And they never have this buffer zone of space and time for themselves to set the foundation for the day first. And so that power hour, that's your zone where you do all these things, these habits that will set
Mhm.
the tone for the rest of the day. So things like meditating. So I do kind of my process, my morning flow, if you will. I call it the warm gas routine, because
Yeah.
it's 7 steps, and each one, the letters spell out warm gas. And so I like to say that what happens when you warm up gas, it explodes. So when you
Uh-huh.
do this routine, you'll explode through your day.
Okay,
So the
give it to
W
me.
stands for so the W stands for wake up early. Quite
Uh-huh.
simply, you need more time to get more stuff done. So you got to wake up earlier, and give yourself that peace and solitude of the day. Because, like, if you wake up right into the chaos, like, everything is
Mhm.
chaotic for you. You had to have some peace and solitude. So I like to be up before the rest of the world wakes up because there's this stillness, no chatter,
Mhm.
there's no noise, there's no social media or breaking news, there's no email interruptions or notifications. Like it's just you to work on you. Right. So that comes in the
Mhm.
peace and solitude of the morning. So waking up early is the foundation part. Right. And I recommend
Yeah.
waking up at 5 in the morning now, but now I wake up at 4, at least 1 to 2 hours before your first obligation. So if your first obligation is you got to wake up and take care of the kids, you got to
Mhm.
backtrack that and you got to give yourself 1 to 2 hours before they wake up. If
Yeah.
your first obligation is going to work, backtrack that, give yourself 1 to 2 hours before you got to get ready for work, right? You need that
Mhm.
zone to do the rest of this process that I'm about to share. So the first thing is wake up early. Second thing is activate. Activate means workout, break a sweat, do something that's going to get you into a peak performance state. And so,
Mhm.
oftentimes people say, "Well, why work? I like to work out in the afternoons, or I like to work out in the evenings. Like that's my flow." But when you work out, it peaks your cortisol levels, and cortisol is this hormone that they call it the fight or flight hormone. So
Mhm.
this hormone it's the thing that, like, if you were being chased by a dog, you will run faster than you've ever fast ran before and jump over a 10-foot fence, right? Like it gets you
Yeah.
to do superhuman strengths because it puts you into a survival mode. So when you're in that mode, like your mind and your body is in a peak state in order to survive.
Mhm.
So that's what cortisol does. And it peaks when you work out. When you exercise, you peak your cortisol level. So why go do that just to go home and go to sleep, right? Why not peak your mind and body into a peak for performance state first thing in the morning? And now you're in that state all day, right? Now you're focused. Now your brain is thinking clearly. Now you can get more work done, right? And so the first thing I do is activate. Do something that's going to put my mind and body into a peak performance state. Then the R stands for reflect. Reflect. Whereas I have a journal. I have actually
Mhm.
my own kind of custom journal called the Morning Hero, the Morning Hero
Nice.
Journal, and it kind of walks me through this whole process. But it walks me through a reflection where I reflect on the previous day and kind of take score on myself. How well did I do
Mhm.
yesterday? Where did I win and where did I fall short? And what do I
Mhm.
need to do to fix it? And so I think if you just ask yourself those three questions every day, like you can coach
Mhm.
yourself to greatness. Like you can pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for coaches, or you can really coach yourself just by asking yourself a
Mhm.
couple simple questions every day. Where did I win yesterday? Right. And give yourself
Mhm.
credit. But then where did I slip up or where did I fall short? And then what do I need
Yeah.
to do to fix that? And so I ask myself
Nice.
those three questions every single day and I write it
I
in my
love
journal.
that.
The M stands for meditate. So meditation
Uh-huh.
is really kind of how I just get connected to my inner wisdom. They call it your gut instinct, the little birdie, the Holy Spirit. It's just puts you into a state of listening where you're listening for answers. So you're
Mhm.
just hitting the pause button long enough for the universe to speak to you. And every morning when I meditate for about 10 minutes. I get some answers. I get a download. I get some wisdom handed to me for me to go off and act on for the day. So M stands for meditate, and then the G, the first letter of the gas part. This is where you really
Yeah.
start to explode. This is where I write my goals, and so this is where I start to get clarity on what my day is
Oh.
going to look like. So I write my goals, and then the A stands for actions. I come up with all the actions that I need to do to push those goals forward. And then
Mhm.
the S, the last part, stands for schedule. This is probably the most powerful thing that I teach people is this thing called the zero calendaring technique, where I show you how to use your schedule to optimize your time. Now, this thing, Inc. magazine did a study and they said that on average, people waste about 4 hours every day on low
Yeah.
value or no value activities. These are things that like you don't even realize are sucking away your time. The time on social media, on distractions, on chores and errands. Like for me, like whenever I'm procrastinating, I like to clean up the house. Like you can tell when I got a lot of work to do
Yeah.
because I start cleaning up everything. Right, that's just my way of procrastinating and wasting time. But a lot of people waste a lot of time all day long and they don't even realize it. 4 hours of your day people waste on stuff that really don't move the needle forward. So that all that comes to is just because they haven't like efficiently scheduled their day for
Mhm.
productivity. So when you start to schedule everything in your calendar, you'll realize you'll get rid of a lot of that wasted space and you can reclaim that wasted time back. And so
Mhm.
I promote that you don't use a to-do list. You put everything on your calendar. And so your calendar becomes your to-do list. Block out the time on your calendar
Mm.
when you're going to do everything you got to get done, and you'll notice that you'll get a lot more done a lot sooner. So that's how you can close out your day by 1 o'clock every day. And so
Ooh.
that process really takes me about 30 minutes from the time, waking up all the way down to the time I schedule my day. It's about 30 minutes. And then at that point, I turn on the gas. I turn on the accelerators and I start crushing the most important things in my day.
Man, I love that whole analogy, warm gas. Now, in the G part of the goals, is it do you set up the goals like daily goals or is it like the weekly goals? How's it go for that goals part?
Yeah, that's a great question. So everyone's got yearly goals, right? And I
Yeah.
recommend you break those down. And so your yearly goal then turns into, what is the next 90 days? So you have a 90-day goal, but then you have a weekly goal. So the weekly goal stays the same. So every
Yeah.
week I adjust my weekly goal. So every day I'm writing the same thing, right? It doesn't change. So let's say this week I'm gonna get 5 new clients. That's my big goal for my business, right? So every day that week I'm writing, getting 5 new clients this week, 5 new clients this week. And the importance of writing it every day is that repetition burns it into your subconscious, right? And so now you start to get obsessed over it. You start waking up in your sleep with new ideas. So I think it's important to write it every single day, even though it doesn't change. Every day you got to write it because you're burning it into your subconscious, because that's where you're going to start to like get into this state of where you're brainstorming new ideas, and the unit, it's called the law of attraction, where you
Hmm.
start attracting it into your life as opposed to you chasing it.
Mm, I love that. I love that. And I love how you made it so simple and you broke it down each step. How long did it take you to like come up with this formula? Like, what were you just sitting one day and then it's like just all came to you, or like it piecemealed it out? Like,
No,
how
this
did
is
you?
over time. This is what over time, kind of what I was doing is, as I was reading different things, and I
Uh,
kind of taking bits and pieces from different people. So, I was reading how Tony Robbins starts his day, and he starts his day with this meditative process. So, okay, let me start that.
mhm,
Then I was reading about, excuse me, Kobe, and how he writes his obsession over his goals because he writes them every day. Okay, well, let me incorporate that. I was reading about, Warren Buffett, and how they do. He reflects every day. Takes time to reflect every day. Okay, well, let me incorporate that. Right. So every
mhm,
time I would read and get a little bit of nugget of what one of these extraordinary people was working for them, I said, well, damn it, if it works for them, it could work for me. And I just started
yeah.
piecing and engineering this process from plucking, pieces from some of the world's most extraordinary
Look,
people.
I feel like that's the engineering side, the computer that likes to
It is.
engineer, put stuff together.
Yeah, that's all engineering is. It's just trying to find an more efficient way of getting the result faster, right? And
Right.
engineering is just like, this is the result I want. How can I design a process, consistent, repeatable process to get the result I want? That's what engineering does, right? And that's what I did. I just
Mhm.
engineered success and put it into
Yeah.
this process.
And I think you're the perfect person to do this because of your background and your your ability from sales and just the intuition to know like, hey, this is where I need to be. And you've taken both of those skill sets and manufactured this thing that's just amazing. And I can't wait for other people just to, explore in it with you. And you saved a lot of people a lot of time and money just by putting it, manufacturing this together so that they could just come to the morning hero to ignite and light their life on fire.
And so they can explode, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty.
and for those who are not getting the visual experience right now, so they can not do it just once, but they could do it every damn day, which is his slogan that's on his shirt on the back of the wall right now.
That's what it
And,
comes from, man. Like results come from consistency, and that's why I created this planner, the hero journal, is because the hardest part with anything, with any habit or behavior, is being consistent with it. But success doesn't come from just doing something once or twice. A lot of times people start off motivated and they fall off. The success comes from consistency, racking up these wins over and over and over. These small things over time compound into big results. And so I put it into this framework so that people can do it on a daily basis and be consistent. So every day, you don't even have to think about it. You just open up the Hero Journal and it walks you through all 7 steps. Like within 15 minutes, you can go from, meditating all the way down to having a really dialed in schedule in just 15 minutes by using this journal. So I kind of that's why I did that, is to help people with this being consistent and having this every damn day approach to their routine.
yeah. Now, obviously, consistency is an important thing to you. That's why you got the shirt every damn day. What is, like, if you had to rate out of everything in the structure, where would you rate consistency? Is that like
Yeah.
really at the top of it, and if so, why?
Yeah, it's number one.
Number
I'll tell you
one.
why. Because I went back in the day. I used to be a bowler.
Mm-hmm.
I was a part of a bowling league, and I was just an average bowler. Not great at all. I just like to do it for because I was doing it with a client really, and I was just trying to impress him. But one day I bowled a 300. If you're a bowler, a 300 is like the most highly coveted, achievement in bowling. It's a perfect score. All 10 frames strikes, like didn't miss a frame. And that's really, really hard to do. I bowled a 300. I mean, it was the highlight of my life. They carried me out. They put me up on their shoulders and they carried me out of the bowling alley on their shoulders, like I had just won the championship or something. But that year, I ranked in the like number 200, 220 out of 300 bowlers. I was one of the lowest ranked bowlers, even though I had one day where I scored a 300. My average for the year was a 178. I was still a really trashy bowler. Success doesn't come from doing something once. It comes from consistency and doing it over and over and over and over again. One time ain't gonna cut it. Once a week ain't gonna cut it. Every now and then ain't gonna cut it. And that's the mentality. This is the mindset that a lot of people have. Like, oh, I went to the gym twice this week. I deserve a Twinkie today, or I deserve to go out and have some drinks. Yeah, I went 3 times this week. No. That ain't gonna cut it. Every damn day. That's the success. Like this is the mindset. Like we're soft. We're soft. We give ourselves too much credit. We want to reward ourselves for we had a salad yesterday, so I can have a cheeseburger today. No,
Yeah.
every day you got to stay consistent. That's where you get the results, not from doing something once or twice. And so the consistency is everything. This is the number
Yeah.
one differentiator between success and failure, is the fact that successful people get back to the grind every damn day.
Yeah. And I think, going back to what you said about Code, that was one of the things that I noticed in some of his speeches and documentaries, like his consistency and relentlessness to put in the work, like no days off. I remember there was one clip. He's like, "Hey, that summer I made a commitment to myself. I made a commitment, and I couldn't break the commitment. That this is what I signed up for." And then he was willing to do, even at his prime, what most people wasn't willing to do. And he
Yep.
used to joke about how him and Shaq would have more championships if Shaq would have been committed to, working out and health and so forth, right? So that he could stay in prime shape so that they could continue to go on that run.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
commitment is
I
key.
mean, Kobe is. I mean, his book, the Mamba Mentality. I carry a lot of that into kind of what I do with Morning Hero. It's just like you just gotta have this mentality, this beast mode that you know, and a commitment level to what you want. And
Yeah,
if you fully do commit to something and you follow through and you be consistent, you will get it. Like the universe
yeah.
has no choice but to give it to you when you prove that you want it bad enough.
Yeah, that is so true. Now let's dive a little bit into your journey going from engineer, because I know some people are going to hear this and they're going to get inspired by it, and there's a lot of people, believe it or not, that are sitting dormant like you were at one point. Life isn't too exciting, life isn't too low. I'm doing good, but I don't feel fulfilled, and I'm just blah, right? Or
Right.
there's some
Blah.
people
I like
that's
that.
yeah, there's some people stuck in that dead end job because they started a career based on something that their parents or somebody motivated them to do, but it's not the right field for them. But they're having trouble making the pivot like you have made. What steps would you say you kind of took in your career to make the pivot, and how did you really make that pivot?
Yeah. So it was a gradual thing. The first thing that
Okay.
happened was the seed was planted in my heart that I wanted something more. At the time that I was making this pivot, at first I started in engineering, then I went into sales and real estate. By the time I was in my mid 30s, I was in real had been in real estate for a while, and
Hmm.
that's when I started coaching. That's when I started hosting workshops and showing people this method of waking up early with this structured routine that'll light their life on fire. And then I started getting feedback and seeing the results that it was having in people's lives. And then that's when I first recognized, wait a minute, I think this is what I'm called to do. Like I like real estate and I'm cool with real estate and all, but I think I was put on this earth a structure and a format to help people become better people. Like if I figured out to produce at a higher level, like, and I know a great way to show that to other people, like maybe that's what I was designed to do. And so once that seed was
Hmm.
planted in my heart, and then I was like, okay, let me start exploring this. And then I started doing it on the side. And so I started coaching
Hmm.
people. I started hosting workshops and webinars. Now, granted, my day job was still real estate. I would still wake up in the morning and that was my primary income. But on the side, on the weekends, I was hosting workshops and seminars. I was getting clients, one-on-one clients,
Hmm.
and basically testing out this theory of, will this work? And gradually
Hmm.
over time, I started to get people started to come to me more and more as I started to build up my expertise in this side thing. I started to build
Hmm.
up a reputation. I started to get more clients. And then I saw, like, wait a minute. Okay, now I recognize this is a business that could work. I can replace my income. Like it was a natural transition. And so
Yeah.
my best advice would be first validate the idea by doing it on the side, right? And as you do it on the
Hmm.
side, you start to build up. Not only do you build your confidence in it and validate that this is the thing that you're going to do, that you want to do, but then it'll also prove to you that you can replace your income. And so it's not a leap of
Hmm.
faith; it's more of a step over, right? Like a leap is
Mm.
when you're just jumping into the abyss and you have no idea this is going to work, and you're blindly hoping shit works out. That's a leap. No,
Right.
no, no. You don't leap. You build the side business up on the side, so you're taking a step over. You're not leaping. You're just
Mhm.
stepping from one thing to the other, right? And now that other
Right.
thing should propel you up even higher if it's something that really, really does that you're really, really passionate about.
Right. Oh, yeah. And I think, that's one of the things people don't understand, that, sometimes that when they see the success, it's not an overnight success. Somebody just jumped and boom, it happened. No, there was some process there. This podcast, I started in the middle pandemic, consistency, and then more traction started to become, and then people started saying, "Hey, you know what? You checked out this, you checked out this," and then you start to get known for that thing, and then that's how it just catapults, right? So I'm not taking the leap, I'm taking the step. This is the next step in that
Right.
journey. So I like the way you phrase that. You're a man that has a lot of knowledge. What's one good lesson life has taught you?
Yeah, tons of great lessons. Well, the very first one is the morning routine, right? So, how if you win the morning, you win the day.
Mhm.
The best thing I would recommend for anyone is to start waking up 1 hour earlier to work on yourself
Mhm.
every morning, and that's through meditating, journaling, get doing some exercise, working on your goals, strategizing what the next step is for you, right? Like strategy, whatever the dream is. Like if you have a dream, like even if you have a day job, you you can't wake up just right into servicing your day job. You have to wake
Mhm.
up servicing your dream first.
Mm.
Dream comes before the day job. So if your day job starts at 8 in the morning, you need to be up at 4 or 5 in the morning to work on the dream. Then
Mm.
you service your day job. Dream before the job, right? So that's the first thing: is get up earlier every day to work on your dream. Second thing is surround yourself with the right people. And
Mm.
oftentimes we have this indebtedness to and this loyalty to people that we've outgrown.
Mm.
And the moment you recognize that you've outgrown someone, like you have an obligation to sever ties because they're keeping you where you were and preventing you from going to where you should be. So, my biggest recommendations, like the biggest shift in my life, happened when I started creating groups and surrounding myself with people, going to meetup groups. I recognized that I wanted to be around people that were serious about growth and development. So
Mhm.
I started my own group and I called it the Accelerated Growth Club. I put it out on meetup.com, and I started attracting people into my world who were the right people that I wanted to be
Mm.
around. And so that would be my suggestion: is start surrounding yourself with the right people. Either seek them out, meaning go to meetups, go to seminars, go to events where the type of people that you want to be around, they are there. Networking events, growth events, those kind of things. Seek those people out. Go to those kind of things, and you'll start to create a new circle for yourself. Or you can create your own, which is what I did. I
Yeah.
created a club called Accelerated Growth Club. I posted it on meetup.com. You can post it on, create a Facebook group, and then you attract the right people. My group started off as a book club.
Mhm.
Our first book was The Miracle Morning. And I posted it. I was like, who wants to get together and talk about this book club? The first time I did that, 5 people showed up to my house, and we did it in my living room. And we talked about the Miracle Morning. 2 weeks later, I did it again. 12 people showed up. 2 weeks after that, we did it again. 21 people showed up. It got to the point where my group got so big that got sponsored by the city of San Diego to host our events in the library. And we had an
Mhm.
event where 150 people showed up, all talking about growth and development, right? That's the
Mhm.
power of when you get serious about surrounding yourself with the right people and and be very intentional. You'll be surprised at how many people are just like you, how many people want the same things you want. You raise your hand and say, hey, this is what I'm about. Who else is about this too? Who else wants to get together to talk about this? You'd be surprised at the energy you start to attract. And so that would be my next biggest thing: is surround yourself with the people that you want to be, that are in the place of where you want to go, not where you were, but where you're
Mhm.
headed. And then you'll be
Yeah.
surprised at how much faster you get there.
Like, I love that. I think a lot of people have problems with that because they hold on to what was, and they may have met that person in the season, and it was right for that season. But as they continue to grow, they felt like they're indebted to that person to, keep this person around because they were a good friend and they helped
Right.
you through some times, right? Or there's the other second part that I see to this is, sometimes some people you can't get rid of, like family, like, that's family. So how
Yeah.
do I keep the proper I don't know, not I don't
Balance.
know if it's distance is the balance with that family member to not let them to affect and disrupt the things that I have going on, right? So what would you say to those type of folks?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know you got some fire for it because you got that smile. Like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
no, it's tough. Like when it is family or close friends, but to one recognize that you don't owe them anything, right? Unless it's family, but you don't. When I say you don't owe that, you don't owe them 100% of your time or attention. Okay, you can limit it. Okay, so you don't have to like let them overtake the direction that you're going. You can still spend time with them and limit their access to you. Like
Hmm.
not just access to you physically, but access to your dream, access to your energy, access to your being. Like you can create a barrier. Like you can physically be with someone, but still have a barrier. And so there are people that I have to physically be around, but they don't have access, if that makes any sense,
Mm,
right? Like, I don't
yeah,
have to absorb their energy. I don't have to absorb their complaining. I don't have to absorb their mindset. I have a barrier. We're in the same physical room, but there's a barrier. They don't have access to my mindset, to my dream, to my momentum, to my agenda. So you can limit people's access to you, even if you have to physically be around them. And so there
yeah.
are family members that I am not on the same page with, and they don't have access to me.
Hmm. And then access to that mindset is just everything because when you allow people access to that mindset to influence it, interpret it, absorb it, it can definitely hinder you. I think I remember Jay-Z saying one time, like when he was talking to his uncle, and it's like his uncle was telling him, like, who do you think you are? You'll never sell a million records. And you know, years later, here I am. I sold a million records like 1,000 times, right?
Yeah.
And and he was saying, it's not that my uncle meant malice for me. It's just that he didn't have the mindset that I had, and so he couldn't envision it because he hasn't done it, or he hasn't had the level of success or had the mindset for success that I did, right? And so
Right.
it'd be irrelevant for me to have a conversation with him about that because he can't see it, right? He can't vision it, and
Yep.
rightfully so. That's his vision is not my vision, right? And so you have to get around with like-minded people that share the same vision, and outlooks that help you elevate that mindset and not deter that mindset. So I
Yeah,
love that. Love
absolutely.
that. So when you let's say somebody wants to get into coaching specifically like you have been able to do, what would be your advice for somebody who's saying, you know what, I think he's right, and I got this thing that I'm working on, and I'm still playing with it, but or I've already developed it, but I just haven't put it out there for whatever reasons. How do I now start to you know get into coaching or put it out there? Or if I'm beginning from the beginning and I want to start to get into the coaching world, how do I do that?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. First of all, get clear on what you want. So I was listening to a podcast by Russell Brunson, who is like one of the top influencers in the online marketing space and digital marketing. And I myself have gotten into digital marketing to grow my business, to scale my business. I'm using websites and funnels and social media and paid advertising. And so that whole world was new to me. And so I'm listening to his podcast, and he says, a lot of times people get stuck. Like he was going through his goal setting framework. And he's like, this is where a lot of people get stuck. He's like, here's the first thing I do is I get clear on the goal. What do I want? The second thing I do is I find a guide. So the first thing I do is I clarify the goal. Then I find a guide, someone that can mentor me, someone that I can model myself after, someone who's got the formula already figured out, and they will shortcut my way to that goal. And a lot of people try to do it on their own. So they come up with a goal, or they think they know what the goal is, and then they get stuck right there because then it becomes overwhelming. It's like, oh, well, what do I do now? Like, I do a bunch of online research, and now I go and watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and now I'm overwhelmed because I don't know the right steps in the right order. They go about it on a wrong way because they try to do it themselves. And
Mm,
Russell kind of showed me the mindset is no, you don't do that. The first thing you do is you find the formula, someone else who's already been there, and you get them to help you with it. So
Mm-hmm.
the best advice I would say is find, once you get clear on what you want, whatever the goal is you're trying to come up with, you know, you're trying to build an Airbnb side hustle business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go, who do you know or who have you seen that has done that already? Get out there and research it. Look up on Google, Airbnb business, on Instagram or social media. Find out who are the influencers or who are the people that are already doing it. Find someone to model yourself after. So find the person who has already achieved some level of success in the thing that you want, and
Mm-hmm.
then reach out to them. You can,
Nice.
most of the time, these people have some sort of coaching program already established. So you can just sign up for their services, read their book. And what in my case, I found Russell
Mm-hmm.
Brunson and I bought his books. His books was the way he coached me. He coached me through the books that I read of his. So find someone
Mm-hmm.
who has already achieved the level of success, and then get whatever they got, either their online
Mm-hmm.
course, their books, their coaching services. Sign up for what they have to offer, and in some cases you can even do one-on-one, but don't be one-on-one private coaching with that person. But whatever the case is, don't be afraid to invest in this goal. And that's the biggest thing, is that you will need to invest if you want
Mm-hmm.
anything. Every great return first starts with an investment. You don't get
Mm-hmm.
a return until you invest, right? You have to plant the seed in order for it to grow, right? That seed planting is your investment. So don't go off trying to find all the answers for free on YouTube. Find someone
Mm-hmm.
who's already done it. Invest in them giving you the formula to do it, and it will take your path from 5 years of ups and downs and struggles to maybe 5 months, right? It
There
will
you go.
drastically shortcut your time, right? And so this is the mind. It starts with this first mindset, is that you got to be willing to invest. If this thing is something you
Yeah.
want, you have to be willing to invest, because that's the only way you're going to shortcut your path.
Yeah, so true, so true. And I'm a big firm in investing in yourself first, with whether the knowledge, resources, books, time, and dedication to, being in the event spaces, and then after well, I mean, if you have the money, go right to the one-on-one personal coaching, but at least start there first and work your way up,
Yep,
so you have at least some ground foundation to
absolutely.
work with once you get into that one-on-one coaching. Now, what do you think the future has in store for your industry, when you look at it? Because I feel like the world has paused and since COVID, George Floyd, and a lot of people are more than ever dedicated into taking back their time and and investing in just in them, right? Because they realize, that I've been living dormant, right? Or I've been not living my best life or the best version of self. And COVID and all this time is giving me time to realize that this is not the life I want to live. So what do you feel like the future has in store for this industry, and where do you see yourself and as it grows, or wherever you think it's headed to?
Well, first of all, the state of affairs for our time and attention is getting drastically worse.
Mm-hmm.
Social media companies are spending, between social media companies and advertisers, they're spending upwards of trillions of dollars
Mm-hmm.
to have a direct assault on stealing your time and attention.
Mm-hmm.
I just went to a friend's house, and he's got an Oculus, which is the Facebook's, basically
The
their
virtual
path to their
reality
future.
thing, yeah.
It is what they're deeming the future, right? It is the metaverse. And so I
Mm-hmm.
put on these glasses and I get transported into the metaverse where all things are possible. I went to Tokyo, and I walked through the streets of Tokyo, and I'm a tourist, and I'm living in this alternate reality where people can vacation, they can skydive, they can go jet skiing, all within 15 minutes, right? And I take off these glasses. I'm like, we this is dangerous because
Mm,
when this becomes the norm, like you think social media is bad. You think you
mhm,
have a hard time shutting off Instagram and the fact that we spend 3 to 4 hours a day scrolling. You think that's bad? Wait till the metaverse becomes the norm, where now all day long you're consumed. Your attention
mhm,
is consumed with with instant gratification and stimulus of whatever you want whenever you want it. Like, imagine then our ability to produce and to do and to be productive in life when
mhm,
I just want to go. I just want to go eat a steak in Japan right now. Let me go to the metaverse, right? And
mhm,
so the state of affairs are getting worse as far as
mhm,
what we are going to be able to produce as human beings.
mhm,
And so for what I do, my what I do is to help people build the discipline and the mindset to steal their time back away
mhm.
from the assault that's happening between digital devices and advertisers and everyone that's trying to steal their time, steal their attention, and prevent them from being productive in life. And so for me, what I do, I think is going to become extremely important by helping equip people with foundational habits and disciplines that's going to allow them to still produce at the level that they were designed to produce in life.
Yeah, I love that. And I was having that same conversation with some friends. I was like, I don't know about this metaverse thing. Like, it's going to create a new type of society where, like, now the new norm is to go escape and experience life through there versus me going to down the street to Jarvis to have a conversation with him, and meet him
Right.
in person, right? And that, like, the thought is still scary to me that's the way we're going, and everybody's time and attention is going to be in there. And so I'm hoping that
Yeah.
through programs like
Yeah.
yours, people are able to
It's
steal their
very
time
scary.
back.
It's a movie. Have you seen the movie Idiocracy?
I'm
It's
almost scared to watch it if the
Yeah, it basically predicts kind of the direction that mankind is headed, where uh, every we're just kind of like big fat blobs of beings sitting in front of a
Mm,
screen where we're with tubes attached to us where we're just fed and we're watching TV and we're just fed from tubes and we never have to move and we're completely reliant on this system to take care of us because we don't do anything. And that's just it's like it's a sad reality, but it's we're getting closer to that reality.
wow, that is a sad state of reality, man. So that's why we got still our time back, and it's more important than ever. And the Morning Hero is going to help us do that. Um, I like to keep these episodes at least what
Morning
used to be a
Hero
drive time.
is kind of
So
my
me and you
passion
can
and
probably talk
purpose
all
is to
day,
help
but
people be the
let's end
most
it off like
productive
this.
versions of
What
themselves
projects are you
so that they
currently
can do
working
and
on, and
achieve.
where can people find you?
So they achieve everything they were designed to achieve in life. And the way I do that is kind of with this, helping people capture that morning power hour, waking up early with a structured routine. So this hero journal is the everything that we talked about today is baked into this hero journal. It's the 7-step morning routine. Within 15 minutes, they're going to gain an additional 4 hours of their time. This is how they're going to steal their time back, is by planning and organizing and executing their perfect day
Mhm.
with this hero journal. So I would say that's the best way is, and this is available on Amazon, or you can go to themorninghero.com and I'll kind of show you how to get one on my website, themorninghero.com.
Awesome. And if you didn't get that, don't worry. I'm gonna get all the links from Jarvis, and I'm gonna put them in the show notes so that you can go get the journal, go plug into his website, see when he's having any events, so that you can ignite your morning. Warm gas, ladies and gentlemen. Warm gas. Give them the
Wake up
acronyms
early,
again for warm
activate,
gas.
reflect, meditate, write your goals, come up with your action plan, and then schedule your day. The warm gas method, all baked into the hero journal.
Nice. It doesn't get any better than that. Any last words of wisdom, Jarvis, before
Yeah,
we sign off
just
today?
Don't be afraid to invest in yourself, whether that's with your time, whether that's with your money. When you pay for things, you pay attention. Invest in yourself. Invest in your dream every day. Dream before the job. Wake up early and invest in your dream every single day.
And do it
Every damn
as the
day.
shirt says, every damn
That's
day.
it.
Jarvis, thank you so much for coming on and just sharing knowledge, wisdom, and your morning routine with us. I can't wait for more people to check in with you and ignite their dreams, their passion, their fire, their day. It's been a pleasure as always reconnecting with you, and I can't wait for us to see each other in person in the
Let's do it,
event
baby.
sometime soon.